स्टार्ट ये रही है।
Yes, Srikant. Okay, I think you have to mute yourself. There's a lot of echo coming from your headphones. Okay, so let's get started. Can you see my screen? Can you all see my screen? Srikant, can you answer? Can you see my screen? Okay, I can get a chat here. Yes, good. Hello, Shyam. Okay. Let me start off. Good morning. Good morning to all. So you might be wondering what this particular visualization is all about, right? So let's keep that interest on. Let's move on to the demo of today's agenda, which is data science. Any questions, please, keep them for the last so that we can go over every question in detail, and I'll try to answer the best. So before talking about what is data science, why, etc., uh, I would like to know from the participants any kind of kind of their background. Would that be possible? I see Sham, Suman, Vaishnavi, Varsha. Okay, Sham is an Android developer. Okay. Yes, yes, we know. Okay. Yeah, it started. I was just checking what people, the participants, a kind of little background about where they come from. So I got a reply from Sham. He's an Android developer. The Suman, Vaishnavi, and Varsha. Hi, Suman. Okay, you just graduated. Graduated from what, Suman? BTech. Okay, good. I wanted to know if I'm able to cover everything in terms of what is data science to each and everybody. So that's the reason I'm asking you what is your background in terms of your education or your current employment or whatever you're doing currently. Varsha, okay, front-end developer. Mhm. So we have two developers. Okay, let me get started. I think I can wait for Vaishnavi to reply. But yes, we have developers and we have a fresher who is just graduate from BTech CSC. So what is data science? So again, I come back to this visualization. Like I said, keep the interest on and you will understand why you have this visualization on the screen. So let me quickly go over couple of things for the demo. I'm Sarita, your trainer for the entire series of data science that has been lined up in the coming days. So it'll be 60 hours of learning, and I'll be here to assist you, guide you, teach you what is data science all about, how do you apply in real time, and how do you derive insights, how do you get benefited out of it, and so on and so forth. So before getting started, like I said, I quick do's and don'ts. Please be on time for the training. Very important because we have 1 hour scheduled every day and it is very, very important for our participants that we to join on time so that we can complete the particular topic or anything that is scheduled for the day within that 1 hour. And I am not a very presentation kind of person. I tend to use any tool that is feasible. I can come up with a Word document. I can just write it on a paper and then take a screenshot and put it on the screen. Whatever is the best feasible method is what I will use for the training. And I would primarily let you guys take notes because we will definitely. So these are again, I'm not just talking about a demo today. It is for the entire series. Is what I'm talking about. So you would want to take notes because when I talk about something, I would be very expansive, or extensive in nature, which might not be present on the presentation. So it's always better to take down notes while we are on the class. So you can just sit back and relax and just hear what I'm trying to say. So first question. So I tried putting everything on one slide. What are the different questions that we have in terms of data science as a stream? So firstly, what is data science? I would like to know. Srinath, is it possible that I can see my screen somewhere here so that I'll be able to see the chat also parallelly? Okay. I want the people to at least come back and answer me. So when I'm on the PowerPoint sharing mode, I'm unable to see the chart and all. So is there any way we can figure out? I don't think there is a feasibility of this. once we are done with the session, maybe we can have the Q&A. Okay, okay, sure. Okay, sure. From there,
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
21:30.
So Sham says parts of data like AI. So what is data science? So Sham, did you answer to that question? What is data science? Okay, okay, good. So data science, when I say data science, it is not a specific stream, it is not a specific subject, it is not a
ఏడిపోతారు
topic, or it is not just one skill.
ఏడిపోతారు కింద ఉంటారు
It is an umbrella of skills. It is an umbrella of topics. It is an umbrella of techniques,
నీకు ఎప్పుడు నిద్ర వస్తా
capabilities, and it can be possessed by one person or a group of people who form a team to become a data science team. So data science is a field where if I have to be very, very correct, it is a field which is more like an umbrella where it comprises of scientific methods, processes, systems, algorithms, people who actually the people take leverage of all of these and derive insights, knowledge from data in various forms. Now, what is the difference between a data and an information? Very, very important for a data scientist to know. The first question is what is the difference between a data and an information? I would like to come to AI a little later, Sham. That's right. Like I said, data science is an umbrella, AI is part of it. Abstract form of data is information. Uh-huh. Let me give an example. Let me just give a very, very, very simple example. From today, for example, in the news, I see that there is a hurricane in Atlanta. That's a data for me. But tomorrow, if I'm traveling to Atlanta and in the news I get to know that there's a hurricane in Atlanta, that's an information to me. So information is something which can be consumed. We extract out of data. So that's what is a primary difference between a data and information. So it again changes contextually. For example, if there is a data and you are trying to derive insights and knowledge out of the data, and you're giving that insights for a manager, so the insights to a manager is different. If you're giving the same insights to an executive leadership level, the insights have to be different. Probably the consent context of the information will be the same, but how you derive it, how do you project it, how do you present it, all varies. So that's the job of a data scientist who has to use the scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems, and extract the knowledge and insights from the data. So we'll see the difference between data and information. Now, what are the different forms of data? Data can be structured, where you have set number of variables. It has got proper dimensions to it. That's a structured data. What is a semi-structured data? Probably few of your columns are very structured, have variables, have values, and there are few columns which are just text driven, which are very semi-structured. So the entire data set is called a semi-structured. And your unstructured data is absolutely your text data, the free text. Example, the Amazon review, or maybe the Twitter tweets, or just your news article, or your consumer reviews, or your customer company reviews, everything, whatever you're talking about, whenever you talk about free text, that's all unstructured data. So next, what is data science? We see that. Why data science now? Do you really think it has come now, or is it there for a very long time? Okay. So to be very, very clear, data science is a term that has been coined very recently, but it has been persistent from very, very long time. And why did we term it as a data science? Science is something where we derive something which we understand the unknown unknowns, known unknowns, or unknown knowns. So that's what we are talking about in terms of science. So it has been existed from very, very long time, When people used to do statistical control charts also, that's also part of data science. People used to predict, forecast weather, all that is part of data science. But now the nature of it has become very humongous in nature. um, I'm not sure if you guys understand the mega trends and all, but we got into the phase of digitization as a mega trend. So when I say digitization is mega trend, everybody is going online. Every data is captured, every consumer footprint is captured. So all that capturing has resulted in humongous amount of data. That's when the basic statistical analysis wasn't enough, wherein it couldn't suffice the amount of data that was there in the market. So to address that needs, there were a lot of other techniques which came in, like machine learning, the artificial intelligence, the predictive analytics, descriptive analytics. All this has come into picture that it has now become a science. So when we say a science, it's a field. So that is the reason why data science is more popular now. But the term is also coined because of its combination of various kind of skills and capabilities. But it had existed long time back. Moving on. So what are the common myths? Very important to know in a field of data science. Data science is all artificial intelligence. Auxiliary term. Data science can start from a basic statistical control chart to an artificial intelligence. So it is an umbrella of fields. The first myth. The second myth is big data and data science is separate. No, again no. Big data is the volume of data. Data science again is big data is part of data science. So whenever you're dealing with humongous amount of data, which is quite voluminous in nature, that's when you go you use the term that I'm applying data science techniques. So again, data science techniques. Under the word techniques on to big data. That's what you will say. But it is not separate. There's been a lot of buzzwords around data science when it came to India, especially saying big data. We have business analytics, we have data analytics, we have business data science. So there are a lot of terms. All put together is one umbrella, which is data science. Under it comes the analytics part, the programming part, the dealing with big data part, the AI, machine learning, everything. What is the third myth that we have? I would know programming and I become a data scientist. When I say programming, probably R programming in specific or Python programming in specific. So let me very clearly state the myth here. No, the programming is a tool that can elevate or help you, assist you in doing a job on the data. So if you learn R programming, no, you will not be able to become a data scientist. Yeah, you can take help from Google and all and just try identifying what to do on the data using R programming, etc., or Python programming, etc. But that wouldn't actually help at all. R programming, like any other tool, it is a tool which will help you derive insights from the data. So programming is a tool, SAS is a tool, SPSS is a tool, Watson Analytics is a tool. So all these are tools which will help you to derive insights from the data. Now what is the fourth myth that we have? Data science is a mysterious black art. No. Just because the data scientists derive insights which are more like predicted ones, forecasted ones, it is not a mysterious one. It is absolutely laid out, very structured approach. You have a set of techniques, you have a set of problems, you know which one to apply to what. So simple common logic is what is used. So it is not a mysterious black art. What is the fifth myth that we have in the field of data science? This is a fad, that will soon fade. That's usually that comes up, right? Suddenly we have a new technology coming in, everybody talks about it, everybody starts learning about it, and suddenly after down the lane, like 5 or 6 years, it will soon fade or probably soon become redundant. That's what we kind of have a myth about. But is data science also like that? Definitely not. Because, like I said, data science has not just come now, probably in the last few years, where, DJ Patil has coined the term data scientist. No, it was not from then. It was from long, long time back. It was from the time of our ancestors. So it is not something that which started as a fad. It has been existent and it will exist also because we have moved to the mega trend of digitization, and the digitization trend is gonna stay here for at least few hundred years. So data science is not a fad. It will definitely exist. Probably it will evolve. It will become more better and better by the day, but it will definitely not fade. What is the final bit that we have? So we keep hearing about, like I said, we have heard a lot of terms like business analytics. We have heard about uh, data analytics, the big data, etc. Similarly, there's something called as business intelligence also. Companies used to actually hire people for business intelligence before, and there is always a confusion between BI and BA are actually together. So when I say BA, it is analytics, the data science part. In few companies, it is termed as business analytics. So are they same? Is business intelligence and business analytics the same? Not exactly. There is a fine line between the two. Business intelligence primarily do a lot of data managing, data mangling, data wrangling in the back end. Probably they take a SQL database and they kind of sit around and understand how the data is formed, what are the tables, what are the dimensions of it, and at the same time there are a few business intelligence teams which do pattern understanding, trends, the line charts, time charts, all that. But when coming to a data science, it also involves BI to such an extent, but there's a fine line where you start doing predictions, you start applying advanced machine learning, you start applying advanced statistical analysis. So that's where a fine line is there. They are not overlapping entirely, neither they are completely separate also. It's like a fine line between them. So these are the common stuff we have in data science. Now, what is the process? Simple. I would like to always keep my trainings very very simple in nature. The first and foremost thing in the process is just get the data, the steps. So I would go with the process and the steps together. So the first and foremost step. So I said data can be structured, it can be semi-structured, or it can be unstructured, right? So first step is just go and get the data. Once you get the data, start exploring the data. So before exploring, there can be little amount of data cleaning, data crunching, data managing kind of task. But ultimately, it is for you to explore the data on a very very high level. On a very very high level, just to understand how data is talking about. If you take time series data, just do an exploratory analysis, trying to understand what is the trend of the data, etc. Once you're done with identifying and exploring data, you might find little patterns in the data. So the pattern, how do you find it, is part of our training. So you identify few patterns in the data. So the patterns can be in any form of data. It can be structured, it can be semi-structured, it can be unstructured.